Always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, Dominica leads the world with one of highest cooperative penetration rates at 219%. In news from the region, Jamaica's Prime Minister calls for CARICOM unity and vigilance amid a global crisis. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump announces 25% tariffs on South Korea and Japan. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering Fast Pay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? Fast Pay will send it to your email immediately. Use Fast Pay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
Welcome back and welcome to the listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. On top of the news this evening, the penetration rate of cooperatives in Dominica continues to be among the highest in the world at 219%. This statistic was revealed by Dr. Andre Henry, Director of the Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies, during a solidarity message at the first ever Cooperatives Awards. The awards ceremony was held at the Intercontinental Cabaret Resort and Spa on the weekend.
Here's what might be a surprise and maybe a shocking statistic to many of you. Globally, the penetration rate of credit unions was 13.5% in 2023. In 2020, the penetration rate in Dominica was the highest in the world at 169%. But you were not satisfied. Your penetration rate grew by more than 30%, almost 30%, to reach a staggering 219% in 2024. Clearly a world leader.
Director of the Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies, Dr. Andre Henry. Dr. Henry added that Dominica's cooperative sector continues to be a pillar of national development.
Dominica's cooperative sector, spanning agriculture, financial services and fishing, has long been a pillar of national development. From the steadfast leadership of rural women in village savings groups to the innovative youth-led agro-processors. The cooperative movement here continues to adapt and respond to today's realities: climate change, food insecurity, unemployment, and economic stability.
Director of the Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies, Dr. Andre Henry. The awards formed part of activities to mark International Year of Cooperatives, which is being celebrated this year. Dominicans now have access to obtaining fully accredited degrees from DeVry University through a recent partnership with the Academic School of Learning. Director of the Academic School of Learning, Heyman Williams, says through this partnership, Dominican students can obtain both bachelor's and master's degrees online without having to leave the island.
Students in Dominica will soon have access to full accredited, internationally recognized bachelor's degree and master's degree program, and it will be delivered entirely online with local support. This initiative offers flexible, affordable pathways to global qualification without the need to leave the island. And that is the reason why we are building this kind of relationships. We know what DBS have done when Ross was here. Individuals could get it through their parents and family members that work within Ross University. Now academics making it available for everybody. Even more, all registered students will be eligible to 50% tuition scholarship. This is a major step forward in expanding education opportunities for Dominicans.
Director of the Academic School of Learning, Herman Williams. The Portsmouth-based Academic School of Learning held its 6th graduation ceremony last Friday. Chief Executive Officer of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams, says this year's World Creole Music Festival will showcase the strength of Dominica's Creole culture. The lineup for the 25th edition of the festival was officially announced on Friday. Jamaican dancehall artist Vibes Cartel will be the headliner for this year's event, which is scheduled to take place from October 24th to 26, 2025.
The World Creole Music Festival is a cultural flagship that has amplified the voices of Creole people and elevated Dominica's presence on the world stage. As we celebrate 25 years, this Silver Jubilee reflects the strength of our culture and the global impact of our music. The 2025 lineup is iconic, diverse, powerful, and rooted in Creole pride. For tickets, travel packages, and updates, visit www.dominicafestivals.com and follow Dominica Festivals on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest. Let's celebrate 25 in 25, where global echoes meet the heart of the nature island.
CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. DBS News spoke with attendees at the official launch of the event at Villa Coptol on Friday. Here are some of their interactions to this year's lineup.
I think it's a very good lineup. My concern is, what are we going to do next year if we have such a lineup? I believe it should be probably a 4-day event. I think we will get a lot of people in Dominica, especially the headliner, Vibes Cartel. Really, really, really good lineup for this year. I look forward to it.
Well, I think the lineup is great. I think that the Dominica Festival Committee did an excellent job putting together the acts. I think it's catering to all the different genres, all the different patrons that will be attending the festival. So overall, it's an excellent job from the Dominica Festivals Committee.
Very, very energetic and very, very sweet and nice lineup. Oh, well, I'm a music lover, so it doesn't matter who's on. I'm here for the Creole Festival. I'm going to be supporting everybody.
Well, it's 25 and 25, and it's a jubilee year, and I expected nothing less. Of course, Dominica Festival Commission, they've been at it for years, and this year, we just come and just blow everything out of the park.
Reactions on the World Creole Music Festival 2025 lineup. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation will hold a community meeting in Stock Farm to address residents' concerns. Residents of Stock Farm and nearby areas are encouraged to attend the meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday at the Dominica State College campus. Rhoda St. John is the Public Education Officer at the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation.
Residents of Stock Farm, Yampis, Bellevue Roll, and other neighboring communities, you're cordially invited to a meeting this Wednesday, 9th July, 4:30 p.m. The meeting will take place at the Dominica State College Lower Campus. We'll be discussing important matters concerning the communities, including the recent fire on the landfill. Your presence and impact are valuable as we work together to address these issues. We look forward to seeing you there.
Public Education Officer at the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Rhoda St. John. All ranks within the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is now filled following the confirmation of new appointments by the Police Service Commission. Acting Chief of Police Lincoln Corbett said these appointments mark a record for the police force, with 39 officers assuming new ranks within the force. He made the announcement during a Ministry of National Security press conference last Thursday.
So the Police Service Commission met based upon recommendation that were sent to them, and also acting on your own deliberate judgment, promoted 19 officers in various ranks. So we now have our full complement of ranks from from commissioner all the way down to the last corporal, albeit some of them in acting capacity. So Inspector Maxime, the acting ACP. They also promoted 2 ASPs to the rank of superintendent, 3 inspectors to the rank of ASP, 6 sergeants, assistant superintendent of police, ASP, 6 sergeants to the rank of acting inspectors, and 7 corporals to the rank of sergeants. Additionally, acting upon the powers vested in the chief of police by the commission, I have appointed 2 officers to the position of corporal and 18 officers to act corporal. I don't believe ever before we have had so many officers been promoted at any one time.
Acting Chief of Police Lincoln Corbett. Former Chief Environmental Health Officer and sports advocate Anthony Scotland is urging Dominicans to have more appreciation for what he called the struggles of the past generations. Speaking on DBS Discovery's podcast on Sunday night, he highlighted the Black Power movement of the 1980s and its impact on the youth. Scotland stressed that strong family foundations were key to those movements and remain vital for a resilient society today.
We find that we were able to go through it. We were able to learn from it. In my generation, because a lot of my generation that struggled through that back war period was able to grow and develop and become fruitful citizens later on. You understand? Rights is nothing that you just get overnight. You have to fight for your rights, and then you have to fight to maintain it. And sometimes we just sit down there in a don't care attitude and a don't care mood. This thing doesn't augur well for development of our country. I always believe that strong families make strong nations. If you have weak family structure, your nation will be weak. So it's critical that people understand that the family, when they stay together, when they pray together, that's what you need. Strong family structure.
Former Chief Environmental Health Officer and sports advocate Anthony Scotland. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
In news from the region, Jamaica's Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, has urged Caribbean leaders to remain united and vigilant in the face of growing geopolitical and socio-economic challenges, warning that the region must adapt and strengthen its global partnerships to secure a sustainable future. Speaking at the opening of the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community CARICOM today, Holness underscored the importance of strategic regional cooperation during turbulent global times. The Jamaican leader, who assumed chairmanship of CARICOM on July 1st, also highlighted the regional bloc's responsibility to navigate shifting international dynamics. And internationally, the United States has announced a new 25% tax on products entering the country from South Korea and Japan, as President Donald Trump began sharing a batch of letters to leaders of countries around the world outlining his tariff plans. The messages come as the 90-day pause the White House placed on some of its most aggressive tariffs was set to expire. Trump had suspended higher tariffs to allow for trade talks with various governments after his initial announcement sparked outcry and turmoil on financial markets. The high duties had been set to resume on July 9th, but Trump has said he now plans to implement them on August 1st. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's begin with volleyball news, as it was a tough day for the national under-18 men's beach volleyball team of Kyson Anthony and Kylo Robinson, as Dominica went down in their first two matches in the under-18 Nautica beach volleyball qualifiers in the Dominican Republic today. Well, the national team put up a strong showing, but they went down in 3 sets to Puerto Rico in their first match this morning. Dominica took the first set, but lost the next 2 sets, losing the match 20-22, 21-18, and 15-13. The team also went down this afternoon to Mexico. They lost that game in straight sets, losing 21-5 and 21-14. Dominica will play their final match in the group against the United States tomorrow morning. Meantime, the men's national beach volleyball team of Mervyn Mingo and Bill Frederick, they overcame a slow start to the Nautica beach volleyball tournament to end their competition on a high note yesterday in the Dominican Republic. Dominica lost their first 2 matches, losing to Canada and Puerto Rico, but they bounced back to beat Barbados and also, Puerto Rico as well. And they ended the tournament with 2 wins and 2 defeats. So Dominica finished in 9th place overall. Let's bring you some more volleyball news, as the defending women's volleyball champions, the Aces, could retain their women's title tomorrow as they face MCCU Sunrise in Game 2 of the women's finals in the KFC National Volleyball League. Well, Aces took Game 1 of the series yesterday, taking it in straight sets, winning 25-18, 25-21, and 25-18. Aces are leading the 3-match finals 1-0. Game 2 is set for tomorrow evening at 6:30. And the men's finals, that will also continue on the weekend, Sunday to be exact. Club 1 are leading in the men's Division 1 finals with a 1-0 lead over the MCCU Sunrise team. And Club 1 are also in front in the men's Division 2 finals as they are leading that series 1-0 against the R&D Academy. Staying in volleyball news this evening, the Technical Support Officer of the Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association, the ECVA, Erickson Libla, says the achievements of the regional association should not go unnoticed. Well, Libla, who is a former executive member of the Dominica Volleyball Association, says that the ECVA has made significant strides. His comments as Dominica joined the rest of the world today in observing World Volleyball Day.
Volleyball in the ECVA has come a long way. From small beginnings and informal play to structured leagues, regional championships, and participation on the world stage, we've witnessed incredible growth. We've seen athletes from small island nations rise to meet global standards, proving that talent, heart, and determination matter more than size or resources. Whether it's beach or indoor, we know this sport is more than just a game. It teaches discipline, teamwork, resilience, and pride. And it gives our young people a chance to dream bigger on and off the court. As we look to the future, I want to encourage our youth to stay passionate, stay focused, and keep pushing forward. The game is evolving, and so are the opportunities. With the right support, the next generation of ECVA players can go even further, competing professionally, pursuing scholarships, or representing their countries with pride. So today, as we celebrate volleyball across the globe, let's also recommit ourselves to building strong programs, supporting our athletes, and growing the ECVA family.
And that's Technical Support Officer at the Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association, the ECVA, Erickson Leblanc. Well, in some track and field news this evening, the Aspirers Athletics Club took top honours at the Critley Bino Club Championships as they dominated in both the boys and girls events at the meet which was held in Portsmouth yesterday. Aspirers won the men's division with 32 points. Pioneers Athletics Club came second with 27 points, and the Olympians were third with 11 points. While in the girls' division, we had Aspirers topping with 21 points, while Westmore Rangers and Pioneers finished on 20 points, with Striders ending on 16. No new records were set yesterday at the meet, but we can look at some of the individual performances. Shakan Stedman of the Pioneers Athletics Club, he ran 10.8 seconds to win the senior 100-meter men's event. Stedman also won the 400-meter event. The former Olympic athlete Luan Gabriel, she won the senior female 100-meter race in a time of 12.1 seconds. Chris Toussaint took the men's 200-meter race, running 22.4 seconds. And Luan Gabriel was again at the top of the podium as she won the senior females 200-meter event. Akisha Luke also had a very good day, winning the women's 800-meter and 400-meter events. Well, let's move to cricket news this evening as the West Indies head coach Darren Sammy has suggested that there might be some changes to the batting lineup for the third and final test match against Australia. His comments as the West Indies folded for 143, chasing 277 to win the second test. Brandon King has been the only West Indies batsman to score a half-century, with openers Craig Brathwaite, John Campbell and Casey Carty, who's batting at number 3, struggling against the Australian pace. Well, Sammy says that the West Indies have not been good enough.
Not good enough, for sure. I mean, yes, we all know we're playing against the number 1 team in the world. 4 quality bowlers in the top 10. But the display, we've just not shown when it is tough to find a way to absorb pressure. You look at on the other side, we've had the top order, I mean, under 100 for 4 wickets down, well, probably in all three or four innings we've played, but they find a way, or maybe our bowlers are not disciplined enough, but they found a way, and that's what the top teams do. We try to get to that position. It's a new set of guys trying to find that identity, that brand, build confidence. But yeah, over the last 2-4 innings, last 2/4 innings of test matches, we've been really poor. The analysts were saying to me, we will not, the next 2 test matches we play, we will not have that quality of bowling to be constantly challenging us, where you got top 4 guys in the top 10. But our lower order, 8, 9, 10 has been really good. And we've seen glimpse of what we could do as a team. So definitely we'll have a look at that. See, the guys that are in the squad and how fair it is to move on as quickly as 3 test matches.
And that's the West Indies head coach Darren Sammy. Staying with cricket news, Brian Lara's world test record of 400 not out, which was thought to be unbreakable, well, it came under serious threat today as the stand-in South African captain Rian Mulder came 33 runs of breaking the record in the second test between South Africa and Zimbabwe. Well, Mulder hit the highest test score for a South African and the 5th highest total in test cricket history. He was not out on 367 when he surprisingly decided to declare the South African innings after lunch on day 2 on 626 for 5. Well, Mulder explained why he didn't attempt to break Brian Lara's record.
To be honest with you, I've never even dreamt of getting a double 100, never mind a triple 100. But it's super special, and the most important thing is to put the team in a good position to hopefully win this test. Well, first things first, I thought we got enough and we need a bowl. And secondly, Brian Lara is a legend, let's be real. He got 401 or whatever it was against England, and for someone of that stature to keep that record is pretty special. I think if I get the chance again, I'd probably do the same thing I know speaking to Shooks, he kind of said to me as well, like, listen, let the legends keep the really big scores. And, you know, you never know what's my fate or whatever you want to call it, what's destined for me. But I think Brian Lara keeping that record is exactly the way it should be.
And that's the stand-in South Africa captain, Wian Mulder. So Zimbabwe, they were bowled out for 170, and then they were 51 for 1 in their second innings at stumps on day 2 after being asked to follow one. Zimbabwe, they're still trailing by 405 runs. So just to recap the scores in that game, it's South Africa 626 for 5 declared. We had Mulder getting 367 not out, and Zimbabwe 170 and 51 for 1. And Zimbabwe, they're behind by 405 runs. In some football news this evening, the Belfast Estate Mao Soccer Strikers have kept the pressure on league leaders Dubla as they came from 2 goals down to secure a win and all 3 points against Middleham United as the DFA Premier League continued last weekend. Well, the Mario Challenger got a brace and Clemson Isaac netted against his former team as Mao came from 2-0 down to win the match 5-3. Kenny George and Jamal Talbot also scored for Maho, while Marcellus Bonney got 2 goals and Jovan Maffey also scored for the Middleham United team. The win moves Maho to 24 points, and they are now 3 points behind the league leaders Dubla. Maho midfielder, the returning Keanu Martin, says it was a good fight from his team to get all 3 points.
Well, the performance, we didn't start off with the football we really expected to play as a team. We started off a little rush in the game. But later on, my players, those that are on the field, whilst I'm on the bench, they show me they can settle themselves and play the football we have to play it and take our time and play as a team, collectively going forward and defending and talking to each other.
How impressed are you that the team were able to come back from 2 goals down?
Well, even though we was down, I never had any doubting. I always know we always playing to the final whistle. I know my players don't give up from the way we kept going in the game. No matter, even though they score, we always kept pushing back to make sure we come back in the game. And second half, we made sure when we come back, we take the lead and we don't lose in it.
This is an important win for the club. Puts you 3 points behind Dubla. It's going to be a tight race to the finish. What do you think, will be the keys for Mao to win the championship?
Well, the key for us is to stay focused and to stay united as a team. To stay together no matter through the bad and through the good. Through ups and through downs, we stay as a team. So we know unity together, going forward, we can help each other. Because in football, it's always a team sport. It's one player helping another. That is how we going forward. We want to help one another and play a competitive football together and try and challenge Dubla for the title.
And that's the Maho midfielder, Keanu Martin. In some other results from the weekend, the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers, their title hopes suffered a major setback as they were beaten by Promex Harlem United yesterday. Tyrese John Baptist, Elvin John and Conrad Simon scored for Harlem, and they also benefited from an own goal as they took down the Bombers 4-2. We had Antoine Larocque and Tyrese Carbon scoring the goals for the Portsmouth team. Meantime, Surgical Southeast secured a comfortable 3-1 win over Connect 767, Quartz Redicast East Central. Darren James, Sidney Lockhart and Trey Douglas got a goal each for Southeast as they took the match 3-1 and the 3 points as well. We had Nathan Newton getting a consolation goal for East Central in stoppage time. There was also a hat-trick from the national midfielder Kian Thomas as it proved to be the difference as Valvoline United picked up all 3 points in their match with Petro Caribbean Point Michel. Well, Thomas got a hat-trick and we also had Randall Copel getting a goal as We United won that game 4-3. Justin Casimir, Dante Warrington and Perry Charles, they were the goal scorers for Point Michel. That's an important win for We United as it now moves them to 21 points in the season and they are 6 points behind the league leaders, Central Cooperative Credit Union, Dubla FC. In some basketball news this evening, the defending DABA Premier League champions, the Detroit Blazers, reminded the young BAA Sharks that they are a very tough team to beat as they handed the Sharks their first defeat of the season as the DABA Premier League continued last weekend. Blazers took that game 80-75. Maxwell Birmingham had 21 points, Sergei Joseph 23 for the Blazers. Kimmel Dodds, he got 21, and Jimal Peltier and Jaden Scotland had 16 points each for the Sharks. In some other results from the Premier League, the Peru Super Eagles, they took down the Dr. Daru Prichler Sports Club Falcons. Caden Paul had a game-high 24 points as the Eagles defeated the Falcons 76-54. Shama Felicity, he also added 18 points for the Eagles, while Meshach Debuli got 18 and Zach Bastian 15 for the Falcons. In the Division 1 League last weekend, well, the Perkies Pizza Young Ballers, well, they were too much for the Canefield Tigers. They kept the Canefield Tigers winless as they won that game 67-52. Andel Olivachi scored 17 and Charlton Charles had 15 points for the Young Ballers. Haywood Powell, well, he had a game-high 23 points in a losing effort for the Canefield Tigers. And the Tigers, like we said, they're struggling so far this season. They're yet to pick up a victory. We also had a win for the Convenience Plus Maho Gators as they picked up their first win of the season as they beat the defending Division 1 champions, the Detroit Blazers. Maho took that game over Massac. That's always a grudge match. And they took that game 60-49. I believe it's the first time that Maho have beaten the Massac Blazers. And Von Vidal, he got 22 points. Delton Eugene, 16 points for the Maho Gators, while Elijah Popo and Dred Swan Lee had 10 points each for the Blazers. We can go back to some cricket news because the West Indies women's captain Hayley Matthews and leg spinner Afi Fletcher have been shortlisted for the coveted ICC Women's Player of the Month award for the month of June. Well, Hayley Matthews scored 104 runs in the 3 one-day internationals against South Africa, including a half-century in the third match. She also chipped in with 4 wickets, and then she elevated her performances in the T20 format, where she got 147 runs with 2 half-centuries, and she also picked up 2 wickets as well. She was named the Player of the Series in the T20 tournament, or the T20 series, which the West Indies won 2-1. Afi Fletcher, meantime, she was the leading wicket taker in both the ODI and the T20 series against South Africa. And the leg spinner finished with 9 wickets in the ODI matches. And in the T20 matches, he picked up 5 wickets at a very good average. Economy rate, I should say, of 6.75. And let's end with this cricket item as a half-century from Kurt Murray and solid contributions from Dominica's Osinio Fontaine helped propel the Windward Islands under-19 team to their second win in the Cricket West Indies under-19 tournament as they got past Jamaica in St. Kitts yesterday. The Windwards batted first. They made just 196 in 44 overs. Kurt Murray top scored at 52. Dominica's Osinio Fontaine got